Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My today's topic is embrology and Quran, and it is from the Dr. Gray Miller's book Amazing Quran. Let's discuss about our topic. He describes in his book, a few years ago, a group of men in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, collected all of the verses in the Quran which discuss embryology, the growth of human being in the womb. They said, here is what the Quran says. Is it the truth? In, es- in essence, they took the advice of the Quran, asked the men who know. They choose as it happened. A non-Muslim who is a professor of embryology at the University of Toronto. His name is Keith Moore, and he is the author of textbook on embrology, a world expert on this subject. They invited him to Riyadh and said, this is what the Quran says about your subject. Is it true? What can you tell us? While he was in Riyadh, they gave him all the help that he needed in translation and all of the cooperation for which he asked. And he was so surprised at what he found that he changed his textbook. In fact, in the second edition of one of his books called Before We Are Born, in the section about the history of embryology, he included some material that was not in his first edition because of what he found in Quran was ahead of its time, and that those who believe in Quran know that what other people do not know. Dr. Keith Moore states, he mentioned that some of the things that the Quran states about the growth of the human being were not known until 30 years ago. In fact, he said that one item in particular, the Quran description of the human being as a leech-like cloth, was new to him. But when he checked on it, he found that it was true. So he added it to his book. He said, I never thought of that before. He went on the zoology department and asked for a picture of leech. When he found that it looked just like the human embryo, he decided to include both pictures in one of his textbooks. Dr. Moore also wrote a book on clinical embryology, and when he presented this information in Toronto, it caused quite a stir throughout Canada. It was on the front pages of some of the newspapers across Canada, and some of the headlines were quite funny. For instance, one headline read, Surprising Things Found in Ancient Prayer Book. It seems obvious from this example that people do not clearly understand what it is all about. As a matter of fact, one newspaper reporter asked Professor Moore, don't you think that maybe the Arabs might have known about these things? The description of the embryo, its appearance, and how it changes and grows. Maybe they were not scientists. Maybe they did some crude dissection on their own. Grabbed up people and examined these things. The professor immediately pointed out him that he had missed a very important point. All of the slides of the embryo that had been shown and that had been projected in the film had come from pictures taken through a microscope. He said it does not matter if someone had tried to discover embryology 14 centuries ago, they could not have seen it. All of the description in the Quran of the appearance of the embryo or of the item when it is still too small to see with a human eye. Therefore, therefore, one needs a microscope to see it. Since such advice had only been around for little more than 200 years ago, we must say Subhanallah. Please subscribe my channel. Thank you.